come to Krista, who has become a very close friend of mine. It's been a journey. Her book cover is just absolutely awesome. Read in awe. The title is something sublime and different. Those who haven't got the book, we support South African authors. Please, that is why she's in the shop. My friend, what a journey that we've had in the last year. You are one of the most interesting people that I've ever met in my life. You are magical, you are beautiful, and you've become so far, Krista, in the last year. She came in here so meek and mild. Here's my book, they all do. My book, what must I do? What must I do? And we go on a journey, and this has actually become a friend. It's been a year, and I'm actually happy at my life.
We're here tonight launching the first book with the most incredible title. I love the title. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, my dear.
I'm from the Free State originally. Grew up there. I had a rough time at school, being a little bit otherworldly at times. Thank you. Not always appreciated. Really loved school for being otherwise. Been busy with other things. After school, studied hospitality management. After that, I went to England and had a lot of experiences. It really expanded my perspective on life. If you don't travel, you don't learn a lot, really.
So well-travelled, lots of experience, lots of knowledge, lots of things to put on paper.
Hopefully, yes.
For the second book.
Working on that.
Alright, second question. When did you discover you could write?
When my English teacher encouraged me to write.
Write what? Essays or just...
Essays. No, she really went out of the way to praise and acknowledge talent. So that was a big motivation for me to carry on writing.
And then when did you start writing poetry?
When I was 15.
And why did you start writing poetry at 15?
It was after the death of one of my classmates. He was killed in a hit and run. And I wrote a poem as a eulogy for his funeral. And then from there on I started writing.
And your muse, what is your inspiration? What drives you? What gives you ideas to write?
Music, art films, unfortunately the newspapers.
What else? Is that all?
Children being horrible, especially after losing a lot of friends. You know, it's amazing how death can really change your perspective. It reminds you about life, what you're missing out on.
And then the last question. When did you decide to put together Reading Awe? How was this birth? When was it birthed?
Right.
This is a long story.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a long story.
You've got all night, it's fine.
One of the very easy. When I wrote, I started writing when I was 15. So I compiled a lot of poems, and it was a stack like this, lying around in my room. A white elephant, if you may. And when I started teaching, I really had a problem. I was assaulted twice in the school. And one of my students committed suicide. And 2 weeks prior to that, she actually had a fallout with me. And afterwards, one of her friends came up to me and said, "Ma'am, it's your fault." And that basically sent me straight to Denmark. And it was very strange. It was just, oh my gosh, I'm really on my way to a loony bin. That's usually for someone else. no one would think they will ever walk down that road. And amazingly enough, I bought my little things and I was standing in the aisle and I saw the Oprah magazine and it said, write your own life story. And I picked it up. And during the duration of my stay in Denmark, I actually studied that book and I did a lot of research. And finally, I contacted the publisher, because ironically enough, the woman who wrote an article was also in Valkenburg. So apparently the Lululemon has a lot of inspiring events lined up, eh? You have to go mad to start writing. So I asked one of my friends to just have a look at it, and he said, yeah, go for it. And just to double check, I actually made contact with Don Matera. So I met him in 2009 when I did the Lenswear Poetry Project. I was a semi-finalist, and we went through to the final round in Kimberley. And he gave us his number that time, which is quite stunning. And he told me, remember, call me, say Lady in Black. Nothing changed, eh? Anyway. And I met him, I'll never forget it. I met him at Southgate Mall, and I said to him, it was really unique, like Deborah said, like very shy and insecure, and I said to him, please, Don, please just have a look at this. And he came back and he said, go for it. It's been a long journey because I just have poems. If you look at my list of words, you'll see there are quite a lot of poems. I mean, for I think a size 11 font to make up 202 pages, quite a lot. And I sat down and I started writing my memoirs. So I just believe if you write a poem, a lot of people do not know where you come from, what your mood is at the time. So to reinforce and basically just give a background, it helps a lot. And that's basically how I wrote my book. Went to the Lululemon again, and then with my memoirs and everything together, I said, right, this is it. Because sometimes we're so focused on one thing, we forget that we have different aspects to our personality. We forget our talents. We tend to forget who we are. Because we are pigeonholed all too easily.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Can you read one or two pieces?
Of course.
I'm going to go back to my chair so that I can
No,
be entertained.
please hold my hand.
No?
Why not?
I want
The phoenix rises, shaking the dust from her wings, pulling away the arms or spells came undone. In eyes break the light that make darkness abide. She conquered, she died, she defied the laws of earth, bound in her spirit, keeping it painfully entwined, tangled to the earthly domain. Her head tilted as she gazes into the rising sun, facing the blinding light, beckoning her departure. The body absorbing solar rays, gleaming, shaking off her old velvet skin. The strut, numb and cold, until joy starts to quicken her stride. She is streamlined agility, cutting through the stratosphere, footprints strewn on the Milky Way. She walks smilingly with a sway, bangles softly rattling like thunder rolling on from afar. Her demeanor calm, her voice soft-spoken velvet-like innocence, in contrast to her stories, mirroring the lines fate has drawn on her face. Her gaze impervious to prejudice, immovable by bypassing swallows of the sea. She finally broke through the flurries of self-hatred. She evolved to loving herself, a love she could not feel, surging through her veins, pumping an intuition that she was the one to bring about change, that she was destined for greatness. A conscious spiritual action, life's illusion of reality, severed from her. Embossing herself, false self, chasing streets paved with gold, she chased an illusion that reduced her worth to filth. Dreams spoke and intuition had never subsided. Truth lies in being killed by one's own vices. Spirited by the moment, feverishly denying her own self, time and again, all the bad events, bad company, bad habits were hard to restrain. Searching for luck everywhere but in own self. She started loading her soul with empty, deadweight emotions, stirring toxic habits, flushing her own spiritual being out. She started to vomit life's bitter black bile, curling, whimpering with pain. Between her and her God, she felt nothing left to be reconciled. In church, Christ was crucified day after day. Every saint dressed in spiritually tethered soiled cloths viewed her frailty as failure. The stage for prejudice grew. This could not be what Christ would want. She felt new. Her beliefs were questionably staggering, confused, and her last hope of redemption slain. The greater the need to be on the short and the narrow, the more on the broad white road she remained. Yet he came in many a way, either in small messages from strangers passing by, the promise of strength delivered. She ate his words and his vows sustained, renewed. She built her strength through him, and all that initially mattered faded.
And I get the impression she writes from her heart. From what I've heard, I think it sounds like a very worthwhile buy. The depth of her poetry really sounds great. I reckon that there should be, any kind of genre in books is a seller if you can find the right market for it.
Chris's book is amazing. I think that the fact that she's used such deep emotional words and her vocabulary and her style of writing, etc. But more importantly than that, I think she's giving women the permission to actually be authentic, find their inner voice through their pain, and be optimistic despite of their journeys they've gone through. Someone's book like Chris's poetry actually gives anybody who's having any kind of pain or journey that is painful rather, gives them the opportunity to delve within their souls and say they are okay, they're not unique, and they can talk about their experiences, because in the opportunity to give voice and expression to their pain, it actually is therapeutic and helps them overcome, redefine, and actually get well as women and individuals.
If you know where the stories come from, very uplifting. I think a lot of people can resonate from it. We've all been through things like this. Abuse is everywhere, and that's not just for women, that's for children and men too. And have been a victim of myself of that. I know that once we can penetrate into women and let them step out of their fears, and I think Chris's book will help that. To step, because that's what she did. She stepped out of that fear, embraced the fear, and wrote about it, which purged everything, which freed her. And I think that's where her book can help a lot of women. Once you help able people to purge their fear, get over that fear, they'll be free.
Absolutely loved it. It went down well. Got a little bit tongue-tied at moments, but I think it was a success. What inspired me was voicing other people's, giving a voice to other people who can't speak, especially females in general. So So a lot of people give away their power due to femininity or traditional roles in society. Next milestone, definitely, I don't know, maybe converting the poems into music. Because I think they might learn a lot about themselves, and it might make them explore certain feelings that they've been hiding, or experiences. A lot of people hold back, and it's like keeping back something that's festering. So exposing that sore and making it heal is actually a big thing. Go buy my book!